cause of a public execution, the hangman's tale. Didn't you say hanging should be brought back?
For certain fragments, yes.
But that's execution. What does execution mean? Execute. It's a rather nice book. I've read that one before, actually.
Yes, it is a very interesting one.
Execution. Definition.
Here's the definition of execution. The carrying out of a plan, order, or course of action.
The carrying out of a plan,
Order.
or course of action. So it's not actually murder.
No.
So you're not inciting murder on your YouTube channels, are you?
I just want the plan to be carried out.
I know you get passionate about those wonderful, I mean, what do we call them? Servants. But yeah, to execute is just to put a plan into action.
Yeah, which is what they've been doing to us all along.
So, have you ever made one of those before?
No. Not needed it yet. Besides, I think that's professionally made.
Yeah, it's a really interesting book, actually. And do you know when hanging stopped in England, in the UK?
The 60s, wasn't it?
1962. He was one of the last executioners. Sid Durnley. But there was Albert Pierpoint that was the most famous hangman. Do you know, they actually, in that book, there was a fat fella that had committed murder, and Sid had to arrange his the drop for the body, where the trap door goes like this, and he puts the noose around it, and he calculated it incorrectly. And guess what? The body separated from the head.
Ooh. So, would that be instant death or not?
Probably, but a bit of a rotten way to go. I wouldn't wish death on anybody, because didn't you say a few weeks ago, when you keep dying because you have over 1,000 incarnations?
Yeah.
And if you keep dying, by the way, people can find out about reincarnation, if they look into the mind, and there's a way to do past life regression, which will tell you all your previous lives. It's very, very good. Look up Hypnotherapy by Dave Ellman. So getting back to hanging around, seems our government are just doing that. They're just still hanging around, hanging on the
Yeah, but I mean, at least we'll be out of Europe soon.
If you believe that, you'll believe in any bollocks.
Yeah, I know we've been saying it from the word go, but at least now it's becoming blatantly obvious. And of course, they're pushing for a second referendum, but they haven't even carried out the first one, so that makes it pretty pointless, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, we'll have a referendum where you all get to decide what goes off. We don't like that. We're going to give you another chance to get it right.
And where's Cameron in all this? He ran off, didn't he, the brilliant parliamentician?
Well, that was the plan. They had to get him.
He didn't stay hanging around, did he? Yeah, I'll tell you, there is one dirty, filthy old bastard, Philip, that's still hanging around. We're going to talk about him as well. Did you see that afternoon that Jaguar Land Rover, delivered a brand spanking new Range Rover to him?
And he won't have bought it. It'll be free of charge.
But there'll be something coming out of the public purse, because they never pay for nothing.
They're like
Zero.
They're like a higher version of politicians, if there's ever such a thing.
Well, guess what? The day after, that dirty old bastard, so-called Prince Philip. What's the difference between Prince and a unicorn and a fairy? There is no difference. They're all fictitious characters and myths in fairy tales. They don't really exist, so there are no princes or anything. But the next day somebody took a photograph of him without even wearing the seatbelt.
Yeah. And the police have used their discretionary powers. Just say, don't do that, Philip. It makes us look bad if we have to fine the poor and not fine you, one of the richest men on the planet. But so try and do it, make it easier.
Carry on driving. Nothing to see here. Do you know, I've got one thing less to say about that dirty, filthy Nazi bastard. But don't forget that he ordered the murder, not execution, of Diana Spencer. Right? Do you know, if the world is...
just before you carry on with that, just for those that aren't aware that it was murder, the inquiry came to the highest possible conclusion, and they labelled it as unlawful killing. That's what was found in the inquiry. So they knew that Diane had been murdered, but the most they could do was call it unlawful killing.
Yeah, they're just a law to themselves, aren't they? They're just murderers. I was going to say something really awful, but I'll leave you with this one. If the world is ever obliterated by nuclear bombs, the only two things left hanging around would be Prince Philip and fucking cockroaches.